Hey Lot Winners, it's Lau86 here with another video. And why the hell am I standing here in China? Well, it's because I'm back, and I'm going to tell you why. So a lot of you might know that I did own an apartment in China, and I actually made a video about it, why I regretted buying property in China. And if you haven't seen it, let me quickly run you through why. I bought it because I was getting married to a Chinese woman, and it's kind of a stipulation that a man in China, especially in Guangdong, in this traditional province here, that a man owns a house. So scraped up my savings, everything that I had, and at the time, you know, I wasn't a rich man. I had like $150,000 to throw at this apartment. It's about 80 square meters, and it was okay. It was in a downtown area. It was really hoppin', vibey area. But I didn't have any kids at the time or anything. And after I dumped all my money into it, it turns out that I couldn't put my name as a foreigner on the lease or on the mortgage. So basically my wife had to, you know, carry the entire apartment in her name. Now, before it sounds like she was scamming me, she actually didn't want to do this. It was just so difficult for a foreigner to be able to do that. So anyway, long story short, a couple years later, we noticed that there's cracks all over the wall. The foundation, the cement, everything that they put it together with was shoddy. I decided if I'm gonna buy an affordable property, it better be a new one, right? In my mind, I thought, well, Chinese quality buildings are pretty bad, so if I buy a new one, I'll be better off. Now, so basically after I bought the property, I had spent all my money as kind of a dowry to, you know, kind of win my wife's family over. And despite it being new, I noticed very quickly that there were cracks developing. Is this fun? There were cracks developing all across the walls. All the tiles were uneven. Stuff was already rusting and falling apart. And that's the problem with things in China, is that they're built in a rush because of this massive housing boom / housing bubble that's kind of impending to pop, right? So I was stuck in this situation where I was in this really horrible flat. And because of, they don't want people in China to be flipping houses left and right to make the bubble worse, you have to wait about 5 years before you can sell it. So I just sold it. Now I'm here without my family. They're back in America waiting for me because I had to deal with a lot of paperwork. Vivi was able to sort most of it out, but now I'm in the process of actually getting the money out of my bank account, getting the money into Hong Kong, and then getting it over to America where I'll be able to use it. And it's really, really frustrating. I've been running into so many issues because it's so difficult for a foreigner to really do anything that requires money transfers, buying property, buying cars, registration, all this kind of stuff that requires documentation. Foreigners are not really allowed to do it per se. Even if it's in the law, the reality of the situation is that it's very, very difficult to do things. Long story short, I found a buyer. They bought it with a lot of stipulations. They were angry because some of the furniture was missing, because some of my family had taken it away, even though that was not part of the agreement. The agreement was that they just get the flat with nothing in it, but they're all mad and they demanded money off for that, so I've been arguing about that. And the amount of money that I'm allowed to bring out of China is ridiculous. It's very, very stifled, the amount of money you can actually take out in terms of transfers and stuff. You lose a ton of money on international transfers, so the best idea is to go to Hong Kong. Problem is in Hong Kong, because there's so much capital flight from China and Chinese people, mainland Chinese people opening banks, it's really difficult to get a bank account as a foreigner now. So there's that issue. So getting money out is obviously an issue and all this kind of rigmarole that you have to go through. But another thing that I have to deal with is the fact that a lot of the paperwork needs to be signed by my wife, which I said already had completed that. But a lot of it, you know, new papers started showing up. So now we're dealing with that. And it's difficult for just me as a foreigner to be able to deal with that kind of stuff. And anyway, all in all, I did sell that flat that so many people of you made fun of me for buying. But you guys got to understand the cultural situation and significance of, you know, getting married in China. It wasn't that her parents or her family or my wife, you know, wanted anything from me. It's just part of the cultural arrangement of getting married. And I kind of understand that. Like a lot of backpacker types like I used to be don't have a lot. And they want to make sure that their daughter or son is getting into a relationship where it's financially stable. So I kind of understand the logic and reasoning behind that. But by and large, it's been a huge pain in the ass. But some good news. So the good news is that I'm beginning another adventure. And I wanted to mention something that I feel like me and Winston don't mention often enough. And that is we have a completely different channel. And that channel is called ADVChina. A lot of you are probably already subscribed to that, but if you guys want to know what we do there, we basically ride around China usually, but we talk about the more, you know, societal issues or culturally sensitive issues that most people, you know, wouldn't put their face on camera for. We ride around the countryside, cities, and all kinds of stuff, and have adventures basically. But the reason it's special is because, well, number one, it's grown exponentially. It's crazy how many fans we have on there now, but one of the reasons that's such a good channel is that it's opened up a whole wealth of opportunities to us. So, for example, we just finished a big, long tour of Taiwan, which was freaking awesome. Those videos are super good. And also, we're going to Vietnam. I'm actually headed there right now. So when it comes to things like cultural comparison, we talked about, you know, the big streaming boom in China, bank restrictions, issues that China's having with the rest of the world. Just so many amazing topics. We actually toured some ghost towns where the buildings are just basically crumbling and falling down because of this housing boom I was talking about. We go into depth about a lot of these things, whereas my channel, Lau86, is more of a personal thing. Me, my family, Vivi, the things I'm personally going through. If you like a talk show format, it's amazing because basically we created, I think we invented this, 2 intercoms on the helmets where we can talk to each other. And at the same time, there's some cows behind me. We can talk to each other and film at the same time and commentate on what we're seeing as we're discussing the topic. So it's an amazing channel. It's my favorite thing to do is film ADVChina. So again, if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely go over there. It's obviously a plug for us, but I think that you guys would really enjoy the content if you haven't already. Anyway, we're headed to Vietnam, and we're gonna do a lot of comparisons because of one specific reason. Our friends that have companies in China, Chinese and foreign alike, are moving their companies to Vietnam. And we think that's really, really fascinating because they're just going from one communist country to another, but there's a very, very specific reason that they're doing this. And that's just because foreign investment in China has taken a dip because of all these regulations and restrictions that China's putting on these companies. And it's really hurting them. So we're gonna go tour the, you know, areas where they're moving to and basically ride around and have a new adventure in a completely different place. And like I said, the wonderful thing about ADVChina is we have the opportunity to go to all these crazy, amazing countries, and we're gonna be going to a lot of different places. We have a lot on the plate. We're gonna go to India, you know, Brazil, Thailand, Russia, which I'm particularly looking forward to, Mongolia, Japan, South Korea, not North Korea yet. A lot of different cool places, and we're gonna have an amazing time. But we're about to fly out there. We're gonna be spending quite a bit of time there. I'm going to miss my family very dearly. I almost cried earlier because when I was flying out here to China, my daughter heard, you know, I used to take these trips before, but she didn't understand the concept of going very far away for a long time. And it's one of those things because now she's almost 3, so she can kind of understand.
Red one? I want $200 for it.
How long is the real or?
The right.
What about helmet?
Touch him.
Honey.
No, touch him.
See? He didn't even jump that time. And when she heard that I was going on an airplane, she said, "Baba, I don't want you to go far away on an airplane." And she was just bawling her eyes out, and I was like devastated. One good thing is that, you know, the whole advent of video chat and technology and stuff has made that so much easier to stay in touch with my family, so that's kind of nice. But it is hard. It is really hard, especially when you're super jet lagged. But yeah, anyway, these adventures that are coming up, this is like a new era for all 3 of our channels. And I'm super excited to do it. I'm gonna film some Lau86 videos there as well. But yeah, expect a lot of ADV content out of Vietnam. We basically go every other week. So every Monday at 1 PM EST, we do an on the bikes, which means that we're riding the motorcycles and having that talk show format. And then every other Monday at 1 PM EST, we also do an ADVChina episode, but that's off the bike. So we walk around with a camera in the streets. So that's kind of the format of the show. It's super cool. Hope you guys love it. Hope you guys love the content coming up. A lot of new Lau86 videos coming up, some in America, some in Vietnam, some in China. But I hope you guys look forward to this new era of all the channels. It's gonna be super cool.
And just like that, I'm in Vietnam. Well, what a surprise. So like I said, Winston and I are on a huge adventure going through Vietnam on motorcycles. We just got our bikes. Disappointingly enough, they are awful, but what's new? We always ride on crap when we go abroad. I wanted to let you know I really appreciate you guys. If you want to see more stuff like this, go on patreon.com/Law86. But I also have another little message that every single Wednesday at 1 p.m. EST, you can watch a Law86 video. Every single Monday at 1 p.m. EST, you can go over here and watch an ADVChina video. And every single Friday, just in time for a beer, you can watch SerpentZA at 1 p.m. EST. Thanks.